I've been meaning to, I really want to whip out my Go board and stones and review a pro game. I really enjoy doing that. But you know what it is? Go demands a sort of time, like space, I feel, that is more than just, oh, I have 20, 30 minutes to spare. I'm going to go and whip out, a quick pro game for review and just kind of spend my time doing that. I feel like you need a slow day almost in order to get into some Go related activities with like an actual Go board, whipping it out, getting serious, sitting down and actually doing something Go related, not just doing Sumego on your phone. And I just haven't really had that recently, so haven't been able to do that. I really want to just spend a whole like morning with a coffee in my hand and review a pro game, but there are many other things to do in life, and usually I find some reason to prioritize one thing over another, and I don't get down to it. But one of these days, I'm sure. You're listening to Start Point, the show about Go for Go fans away from the board. And you know what? I've been meaning to get back into Go, and I keep saying that. And it's not like I haven't been playing. I've been doing some Sumego while I'm doing my cardio, as I've mentioned. I still do that from time to time, and honestly, I'm getting pretty good at it. And I play my correspondence games and things like that, and I still love Go. I still think about Go, but I haven't been playing much live games, and I have this feeling that I'm kind of procrastinating. And why does it feel like I'm procrastinating? Because I'm asking myself that question because procrastinating is something you do with work, right? Chores, homework, that's stuff that you procrastinate. You don't procrastinate a hobby that you've picked up because you love it. So why does it feel like I'm procrastinating at Go? Does that make sense? That's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, and to really get into the details of why maybe sometimes Go might feel like a chore. And I'm sure there are listeners, many, that have felt this way, if not feel this way already. So I want to talk about it, but to get into it, I want to zoom out a bit and talk a little bit about why certain games may be more prone to feeling like a chore than other games. And I think there's a spectrum, and I can't really pinpoint the right words for this spectrum. The best thing I got right now is kind of like a casual to competitive spectrum, but it's not really accurate. And once I get into what I mean, I think you might understand. But let's start with the super casual aspect, or the super casual side of the spectrum in regards to games and hobbies. These I will expand upon by defining these games not just casual, but the fact that they're very niche, and they have the pro scene for these games are very niche or absolutely non-existent. Like, you'd be surprised to find a pro scene for these games because these games are so casual that it's hard to find people who would take them seriously enough to go pro at them. And the games, by and large, are played by the people as an occasional leisure activity for non-serious players. People who have not necessarily picked it up as a hobby, but play from time to time because it's fun. Like mini golf, hacky sack, cornhole. I don't know, maybe snakes and ladders, like a genre of board game maybe. Board games maybe kind of get a little bit muddy when I talk about these things, but the aforementioned examples there, like mini golf, I don't think there's a pro scene, but if there was, I would be half surprised. Mini golf is something that probably most of you have played, and probably most of you have never gotten into, and probably don't know anybody who's really into mini golf. Like I've never met anyone who's just like, oh yeah, I love mini golf. Like I mini golf every weekend. You know, maybe that's like a retirement activity. I don't know. Just play mini golf with your buds. That sounds like a great time actually. But somebody who actually is considered a mini golf hobbyist, I don't know. I think mini golf is just one of those things, and you know, like other things. I guess hacky sack. I don't know. That used to be bigger, I think, but it's maybe more possible to get serious about cornhole. I know some people get really intense about cornhole, but I don't know. There are many people who like really intensely get into the strategy of. I mean, I don't know. I think I've probably angered a bunch of like intense cornhole enthusiasts out there, but that's the kind of game I'm looking at here. These are super niche, not super niche, but super just casual games. Like anytime somebody's playing these games, they play it for fun occasionally. That's the point. And then we kind of move up the spectrum a little bit to the semi-casual. So this genre of games may be mostly played by casual players, but also distinctly has a small but serious pro scene. I'm going to talk about games like bowling, billiards, darts, shuffleboard. I don't know if shuffleboard maybe kind of is in the casual category. It depends. But things like that. I would maybe even consider checkers or drafts, because I think checkers is a very casual game. I think most people play it just to be casual, but I don't know, maybe I'm biased because I'm a Go player that I've looked more into the pro scenes of certain games like checkers, but I've seen that there is a pro kind of seriousness for checkers, and it's with a timer and everything. It looks like a chess tournament, exactly like a chess tournament, except they're playing checkers. They're just staring at the board, and I find that fascinating. But these are games that like you would go out with your friends, and if somebody invited you to bowling, you'd be like, yeah, that sounds like a great time. I'm going to go bowl with you guys. And I don't know, out of all your gatherings, you may know one friend who's like an actual bowler who has a bowling ball of their own because they're that serious about the sport. But mostly it's like, it's still known as a casual game, although it can be taken seriously and there is a small serious community. So we keep going, right? We keep going up the spectrum. We're starting to get into the more competitive games. But this category, I actually found a better word to describe this category, which is kind of the sweet spot category, is I would say just mainstream. And mainstream games have the healthiest mix of casual, hobbyist, and professional players. You have a wide spectrum. Some people who are very casual, who are able to just kind of drop in and say, hey, that sounds like a fun Saturday. I'm going to go and play this game with you guys, even though I never play. That still sounds fun to me. And then there are hobbyists. I don't know if hobbyist is really the word for sports, but I can't think of a better word. Hobbyist players who are like, okay, this is my thing. I play every weekend. I play in a team. I play, and I want to actively get better at it. Nowhere near pro level though. And then a big pro scene, one that maybe people are aware of and actually watch for entertainment without even playing. So, I mean, this is a category filled with games like soccer or football. These games, I think if somebody invited me to play soccer, I'd be like, sure, that sounds great. I would love to play soccer. I suck at soccer and I never play soccer, but I know how to play. I know the rules generally, and I can drop in a game and I can participate. And then there are definitely people on the other side who are just, they really like soccer and they've spent a lot of time trying to get better at it. And it wouldn't be that hard to find these types of people in your life. You can probably look around a little bit, and if not soccer, maybe pickleball, right? Pickleball is something that has just blown up because of the casual friendliness of it. And pickleball is something that you would be able to just invite anyone to play and then be like, okay, sure, I'll pick up this paddle and I'll just hit this ball. And, there's some weird terminology. I have to learn what a kitchen is and things like that. But overall, it's not that hard to get into. And then you have your one friend who's super into pickleball. Same thing goes for things like chess and poker. I would say these are all mainstream games. Maybe pickleball is still kind of on the way to being mainstream, although it's huge. It's blown up so much that, I mean, but you just haven't really seen it portrayed in the media as much, I think, like chess or poker or soccer has. But yes, chess and poker. It's like some things like some people, they just kind of play at Thanksgiving for their family gathering, or they have poker night with the boys. But also there are people who are so intensely into poker and chess and they play to seriously get better. So these are hobbyist players. And then obviously all these games have a pretty healthy professional scene. And then after this sweet spot, you start to get into, see, this is why I don't want to say competitive, because I think chess is absolutely one of the most competitive games. So I don't know what else I would call this end of the spectrum, but competitive or like niche intense. I don't know what you want to call it. It's like difficulty level. I don't know. But anyway, but this group of games is like, it doesn't have enough casual players. It's not really something that people pick up as a hobby casually. Like, oh, you invite your friend over and then they're like, okay, sure, that sounds great. I've played once before, but I'll this is a little more on the side of like games that are played mostly by serious hobbyists and professionals. And of course, this includes Go, right? You don't see many people who don't play Go play Go. Does that make sense? Like, I don't play cornhole. Like, I don't consider myself a cornhole player, but I play cornhole. Like, I've played cornhole. You just don't see people who don't play Go very often. And that's a big barrier for Go to overcome to become more popular. Other games I might include are things like maybe archery, which has a high equipment or cost barrier to entering. Like, you need to like invest in certain equipment, or you need to find a facility. So if you're into archery, you're probably pretty into archery. You don't really, I mean, it is something that you can casually get into. There are certain parks and things like that offer free programs and things like that. So it's actually kind of hard to find something that equals Go in this. But the other sports that I kind of put in this category, which you may argue with me about, are like tennis. Tennis is, it is very mainstream, but as a sport for people who are trying to casually just have a good time on one occasion, it's not really good because it's really hard to just hit the ball over the net, right? Like table tennis might be better for a mainstream candidate. Tennis, you try your first session and it's kind of like, oh, you know what might actually be added to this category? It's just kind of something that I felt about snowboarding or skiing. I love snowboarding and skiing, having grown up in Canada and having gone like every year as I grew up. Now that I'm in California, I don't really find those kinds of people anymore who have grown up doing this hobby. And it's hard to just say, hey, you guys want to hit the slopes this weekend? Because hitting the slopes really means hitting their heads on the slopes, falling backwards and falling on their butts and knees and not having a good time, because it takes a while to get decent at this sport enough to enjoy it. And so this kind of lines up with Go. Another one I kind of put in there, but it's like a maybe, because rock climbing. I guess rock climbing, you kind of need some equipment. You need to like strap yourself in, take some lessons, things like that. So it's kind of hard to just kind of casually do it. Although people do rock climb for just a casual fun time. I think bouldering is maybe more of a easier hobby to get into casually. I've gone a few times, but it's also not really like I don't know. I think you could argue both ways for many of these things, but I think you guys got a good picture of what I'm trying to say here. There is this casual competitive spectrum, and if you go to the top end of this spectrum, I think you find a little bit of, I need to put more work in to enjoy myself type of thing. And so I think that's why Go feels like a chore sometimes. Why? Because once you get to this end of the spectrum, I think there's more of a focus on improvement rather than just having a good time and enjoying yourself, as you do with mini golf and going to, I don't know, skee ball, right? Like, I don't think people are getting really pent up about not getting a good score in skee ball. They're just chucking the balls into the holes and they're having a great time anytime the hole lands in the correct spot, right? So you're not usually actively trying to improve when you're doing these activities, but with Go, it's like every game is, we still have fun with the game. We still like playing Go. And we like to enjoy Go for its own sake. But it's almost like, okay, sure, Go is an enjoyable activity, but that game, although enjoyable, more importantly, was an opportunity for you to learn. And so there's this big focus, not just by the nature of the game itself, but I think in the community, the Go community, there is a focus on improvement on the game. And that is... I don't blame anyone who does. And actually, I find myself emphasizing the improvement aspect of Go as a primary goal of the game because the biggest enjoyment of Go is largely improvement based. Sure, winning is amazing, but improving is really the good stuff when you are a Go player. To improve means reaching a new height, and I think that's the high that you need to give players. If they can at least reach that new height that one time and feel that sense of accomplishment, that's when you get hooked on Go. And you just don't let it go because it's just amazing. And I feel sad for those who are stronger than I because it's harder for them to improve and they have less of a road in front of them and less of an opportunity. And I also envy those who are weaker than I because they have more of an opportunity to improve. And improvement is such a joyful feeling when you improve and you realize you can beat someone who you couldn't beat before. I think the litmus test here to tell whether the game is more like a chore susceptible kind of game is to ask about how fun it is to lose that game. So losing mini golf, obviously losing is never going to be as fun as winning, but how fun is it to lose snakes and ladders, right? Snakes and ladders, it's largely up to chance. I think it's only up to chance, actually. I don't think there are any decisions you make in the game. So losing, it's about as fun as winning, minus the winning part. It's not that bad to lose. I think also you could argue mini golf, it's quite fun to lose because you still had a good time trying to get the darn ball in the hole. And, even if you didn't do as well as somebody else, who cares? You can just say, I had a great time mini golfing. On the other side of the spectrum, when you look at something like Go, it can really feel like a bummer to lose. It can really be a test of your mental strength, and it might say something about you that you didn't know, that you didn't want to know. And I think Go is not very fun to lose. I think a lot of people who have lost many games in Go can attest to that. And so I think that's a good key question to ask in terms of like detecting why certain games feel more like chores than others. But Go also has that thing where basic Go literacy is required to enjoy the game. And even just for a fun casual play, let's say your whole goal for Go is to just enjoy it and to play it casually. Well, before you can do that, you still have to actually put in some work to basically be Go literate. It's like you want to read Harry Potter, but you don't know how to read at a first grade level. You're going to have to put in some work. You're going to have to learn how to read, become literate, learn some vocabulary, and that's going to take some time. And then Harry Potter is available to you to enjoy. It's the same thing with Go. I think that you have to build upon certain ideas over time, and then you start to enjoy more and more. So it's like a good parallel here with reading. Reading is something that you can do all your life. I'm talking about reading words. And then you get better and better at it, and you start to comprehend more ideas, and then you live life, you experience more things that people go through, and you start to understand more themes, more of the emotional depth of certain literature. And as life goes on, reading can become more and more enjoyable to you. Same thing is for Go, but unfortunately, Go is not something that is readily accessible at a young age. So it's like you're illiterate until you hit your 20s, and then you're like, oh, this amazing game exists. Now it's time for me to start learning the ABCs. Who wants to do that, right? It's like language learning. Like I tried to learn Spanish while I'm at this age, and it's not easy. You kind of put a lot of pressure on yourself because you expect to learn things quickly because you're an adult and you feel that you should be capable of doing certain things, but you overestimate how much time it takes. For example, language learning. How long does it take for a baby to actually even say their first word? They're just sitting there listening to people talk for like a few years of their lives before they can string together even one sentence. And adult learnings of languages, they often feel like they're in such a rush to start composing sentences of their own within their first year of learning. And if you, the adult with the kind of less spongy brain, can't I don't know what I was trying to say, but basically, if you're an adult with a less spongy brain than a child, and the child takes a few years to do what you're trying to do, well, how can you expect to do the same as the child is doing? And so we should just kind of accept that it takes a while to get started, but I think that's something that a lot of people have difficulty in accepting. When they get into new things and learning new things, they expect to have fun right away. And that's why pickleball is such an explosion, because you can have fun right away. All you need to do is swing this little plastic thing, hit the ball over the net. It's not that hard. Of course, you can get intense about it and get really good at it, but to start, it's not that hard. And that's why Go can kind of feel like there's a big barrier. And even if you tried to take Go more casually, and I try to go in and play a game like mindlessly, Go actively punishes that kind of mindless activity. If I'm going in and playing a game based on pure intuition and instinct without really thinking about anything, I'm not going to have a good time. I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose to people ranked several ranks lower than I, and that's going to be a punishing thing, and I'm going to not want to play even though I went in trying to be casual. And so, one last thing, Go also requires a solid time block. You can't really drop in and drop out like a lot of other hobbies. It's a commitment. It's like you're kind of opening a new adventure, and you have to finish it from beginning to end. And so, with all those things in mind, with Go feeling a bit like a chore for beginners as well as advanced players, I think for advanced players, at least, I think the way I think about Go, it feels a little bit similar to physical exercise. It's like, it kind of sucks, right? Like, I know there are people out there who are just like, I love exercise. And I'm kind of one of those people, like, I love to exercise, but then you can't just say that you love to exercise without acknowledging that it sucks. Right? It also sucks, right? Don't get me wrong. People who say that they love exercise, they also should acknowledge that it sucks a lot of the time. But man, like the health benefits that you get and the feeling of the gains, right? And all that stuff, like it's just so rewarding. And that's why I play Go, because it can suck sometimes. Yeah, it can. But the gains, man, it's so rewarding. When you improve and Go, it's like you added another cortex to your brain or something. It's like looking up towards the mysterious strength above you it's like so mysterious and so captivating, because you have no idea how these people are doing so much better than you. And then when you get there, it feels like you've just achieved a new state of being. Am I being dramatic? Maybe. I don't know. This is how I feel about it. So, with all that in mind, yes, there are good motivations to play Go, and there are ways to enjoy Go without it feeling like a chore. So, how can we make Go less of a chore for ourselves? Well, there are a few things I think we can do. One thing is to play for fun more often and not try as hard. And that can be very difficult. It's hard for me to sit down and not take a Go game seriously. But one way to do that is to just kind of force ourselves to be silly when we play. Maybe you can play more moves because you feel like it rather than trying to figure out what the best Joseki move is or things like that without going overboard, obviously. You don't want to go too silly, too wacky, and then you just lose the game. You just want to spice it up a bit. Just like next time you make a decision, right? There are these forks in the road that you encounter when you play a game. You go, do I play what I always play? Do I play this new experimental move? Or do I play this because it looks kind of cool? And then you just play that and then see what happens. And then you might run into, oh, well, that actually was terrible, but that's okay. At least you kind of took yourself a little bit less seriously for a bit. And I think that can help in massaging the kind of rigidness of Go. Another thing you can do to make it feel less like a chore is kind of counterintuitive, because I think it maybe feels more like a chore this way, but build it into a routine. Because when you build Go into a routine, instead of having to decide whether you're going to play Go or not, routines make a certain thing normal in your life, and having to motivate yourself each time to play a game can feel very exhausting. So when you have that anchor set, this is my time to play Go. This is when I play Go, whether it's once a month or once a week or every day, what have you. Having that set time takes away that decision-making stress. And it's kind of what I tell people who want to get into anything and set a habit for themselves. It really helps to create a routine for yourself. And I was thinking, okay, what other ways can we do, or can we make Go less of a chore for ourselves? And I thought, what is the most casual time setting so that we can kind of relieve as much pressure as we can? Obviously, if you play like super bullet blitz, like 10 seconds a move, I don't know if that's really the most casual time setting. That seems pretty intense. Same thing for 3 hours. That's definitely not the most casual time setting. I'm kind of leaning towards the time setting that I always say that I play on Fox, which is 5 minutes plus 3 times 30 seconds of Yoyomi. And I think that's a pretty casual time setting. And dare I say, an even more casual time setting, possibly, maybe, correspondence. Because you can play any time you want, and you can play for 5 minutes and then walk away. It's like the form of Go where you can drop in and drop out, when you can take it less seriously. People play correspondence in all sorts of ways. I think some people take it very seriously. Some people play one game at a time. Some people play 100 games at a time. And so it's such a grab bag. I think you can use the correspondence mode of Go as whatever tool that you want it to be. And if it's something that you want to just kind of use as a way to keep yourself Go engaged, which is what I do, I think it's a great casual way to keep in touch with the Go world. Another thing to make Go less of a chore for ourselves, this is hard as well, but to de-emphasize your rank, right? I think rank has a big rank is a big part of why we sometimes take Go too seriously. We don't want to lose our rank. We don't want to lose to someone lower than us. We are so proud of our achievement in our rank, and we want to protect it. It's good to feel proud of your achievement in reaching certain ranks, but maybe try to be conscious of when this rank is actually bringing you down and preventing you from playing Go or enjoying Go. Then it's time to maybe just say, to heck with the rank. Like, let's just play. And if I lose, I lose. If I lose my rank, whatever. If I got it one time, I can get it again. And I think that's definitely a big player in why sometimes Go can feel like a chore. Treat Sumego as a little leisure activity like crosswords or Sudoku. I think it's a perfect candidate for that kind of activity. If you like to spend a morning with a cup of coffee and a good crossword or Sudoku puzzle, Sumego is pretty much along the same vein. The key of it, though, is to choose the right difficulty. If you choose too difficult to Sumego, you might get discouraged. Too easy, it'll just kind of fly you by. It'll be boring. So a good difficulty level, and be conscious of it. You can treat Sumego like a fun little exercise you can do every now and then, and it's just like a way to pass the time. As I mentioned at the top of the episode, reviewing pro games, that's one of my first choices for pressureless Go activities. It's one of my favorites to do. I love laying out stones on a board and just going through what happened during a pro game. And doing more things like that can really help bring back the fun and not so intense part of Go. And then another great thing, probably the best thing you can do to make Go less of a chore for yourself, is to play with friends or play at a club. I think that can significantly lighten the load. Having that emotional support and banter with each other and being able to just go through things together, I think naturally will kind of make Go less of a chore. And another thing I want to talk about is how we can make Go less of a chore for others. Because the goal, I think, for Go, what I envision is, I was at a coffee shop or cafe the other day, and I saw a few chess sets available, and I played a game of chess with my wife, and it was great. I loved that. So one of my goals for Go is to have Go available in coffee shops. Imagine walking into a coffee shop, there's a Go board available. I would grab that immediately and start playing with whoever I was with. Go at a Thanksgiving gathering. If you just kind of have a Thanksgiving gathering and a couple of the people there are just like, hey, you want to play a game of Go while we wait for the food or something? Or if you and your friends could just casually mention to each other, if you want to play Go at the park. I mean, I guess, chess isn't that common for people to do, but it exists out there. People definitely do that. And so more of that, I think, is the goal. So in order to do that, I think we need to make Go less of a chore for others. And I think the biggest chore for others in Go is understanding how to play. Rules clarity is such a key to getting new people to play games. And I think many people have made many strides in this regard. Incente made those really early beginner videos. Then Go Magic also has this really good rules video. OGS has put in their due diligence in making a tutorial. I think people need to continue to innovate that. I think we need to keep refining our way of teaching Go the rules to newcomers, because I see it all the time in Reddit. So many people want to play, and so many people pick up a board with their friend to play, and they get stuck and they ask the subreddit, hey, who won? And it's not even finished. That happens so often. So I think that is really the biggest key to making Go less of a chore for others, is to make sure they understand the rules when they want to get into it, and then just kind of, I don't know, people who like Go will like Go. And I want to hear more from you guys, the experiences that you've had in explaining Go to newcomers, and what has worked and what hasn't worked. I know some of you have already written in regards to that, but I would love to hear more of that. And finally, I'll just close with, why is it important to make Go fun for ourselves? Which is very rhetorical question, because it's such an obvious thing. Why would you get into a hobby if you didn't have fun doing it, right? You oftentimes do that. You realize something is so fun, and then you get into it, you make your whole life about it, and then at a certain point you're like, is this even fun for me anymore? We don't want to burn ourselves out. We want to remind ourselves of the beauty and the fun and the joy that whatever hobby it is, whether it's Go or something else, that it gave us when we first start it, and not get to the point where we take it so seriously that you don't play at all. And I think that's really sad when somebody is a Go player and then they get so discouraged by their rank or their experience playing Go, or they feel like they won't ever improve again. And then they just stop playing, and then they just don't play at all. And that's partly the reason why at the end of every episode, I say keep playing Go, because that's all I want you guys to do, whether it's once a week or, like I said, once a week, once a month, whatever. Just keep it in your lives. Don't get discouraged. Obviously, if you decide it's not your game, it's not your game. Go leave and play chess or whatever. Have fun with something else. But I love Go, and I think if you're listening to this podcast, it's very, very likely that you love Go as well. So just play. Just play. I think that's really what the game is asking us to do. Just play, right? I'm not, like, if you look at the Gobon and the Go board is talking to you, imagine it can speak. I think the Gobon is not saying, come here so that you can become the best Go player. Come here so that and do your homework so that you can do so that you can reach the next rank. I think the Gobon is saying, can you just come play a game with me? And so I think, to me, it's more important to play Go, just play, than to achieve some rank or play the perfect game or whatever it is. In the book The Master of Go, there is a scene on a train, which is maybe one of the most memorable scenes to me, because the author picks up a game with a Westerner, the author being Japanese, and he was kind of baffled by the Westerner's approach to Go and willingness to just lose every time and be like, oh, well, ha ha ha, better luck next time, eh? And the master just kind of held that in disdain and thought it went against the spirit of Go. And like, the guy didn't know what Go was about, which was like this epic journey of playing the proper thing and being really diligent and using it as a training of discipline. And yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I love that too. I love that view of Go, and it's great, but you know, it's not really for all of us. Some of us want to be that Westerner on the train, and we're perfectly content with it. Although I am someone who always tells people that I feel that you really should apply yourself and try to reach greater heights. And that is part of the fun of it all. But there also is a part of me that's kind of just like, it's okay to just be chill about it. And you don't have to necessarily do it 110% all the time. It's like just different strokes for different folks. So I want to know your thoughts on it, but now it's time for the DDK Advice Corner. And the tip of the day is develop your eye space intuition. I swear there's like a pun in here that I can't think of, like an eye tuition or something, but I can't think of it. But basically, intuition evolves kind of naturally, but you got to pay attention to certain things in order for it to evolve. And this is talking about eye space intuition. Look at the patterns that are on the board and pay attention to the spaces that are being made by groups of stones, and have hypotheses and theorize whether certain spaces will yield 1, 2, or no eyes, or half an eye, and just kind of think about it and try to develop that sense of what an eye entails, right? Some of them will be very obvious, some of them will be kind of fuzzy, some of them will be near impossible, but just kind of apply yourself to that and you'll start to pick up certain patterns, and that will go a long way. And now it's time for listener mail. Thanatos Mortis, in response to the Nintendo episode that I did, says it's probably because Atari should be making Go video games. And that's kind of sad. Did Atari, the video game company, never actually make a Go game? I mean, I don't know. It's not really much money in it, so I don't blame any company for not making Go video games. But I'm just honored to have Go be a part of video game history by a company paying its respects to Go with the name of Atari. Thanks for writing in. Ferran writes, you missed music. You know there's a composition for orchestra on Go, right? A link. And then I actually listened to this already. So I saw your comment, took a listen, and the music is very beautiful. I actually listened to a good portion of it. It's many hours, or I don't know, many hours. How many hours is it? It's 32 minutes. I'm exaggerating here. 32 minutes long, but it's a beautiful piece. And it's titled Go Seigen versus Fujisawa Karunosuke. But I did not understand what it had to do with Go. Like, what is it just like the composer looked at the game, thought about it, and used it as inspiration, or is there something more to it? If you could clarify, that would be great. Continuing for friends comment, also I think Gomoku is usually played in smaller boards, 15 by 15 or something. At some point mid XX century, the 20th, I don't know why, the mid 20th century, the Neon Keen tried promoting 15 by 15 Go using those boards, but I'm fuzzy about that. That's interesting if true. Shogi, have you seen the variants? There's a recreation once a year in some castle of something called Dai Dai Shogi in period warrior clothes. It doesn't have prisoners, but wow. That's really cool. With like the dress up and everything, like kind of like a Renaissance fair type thing. I mean, Shogi already seems like no disrespect to Shogi players, it just seems like a chess variant to me. Like, it's just like you took chess and you're like, oh, you know what? It would be cool if we could teleport these guys and like add all these changes. That's what Shogi feels like to me. So I can't even imagine what Shogi variations would look like. Although I guess if you went backwards in time to an earlier version of Shogi, maybe it's simpler. Who knows? Spiros writes, really enjoyed the episode. I'd like to learn Shogi. It sounds interesting. Haven't ever played. If you can, please mention it in a future podcast. Yeah, I can maybe do like a breakdown of Shogi because I have successfully learned how to play Shogi. So I kind of know how to play after a few failed attempts. I mean, coming from a Go player who was able to just kind of get into Go and understand how it works. See, that's the thing. I think Go is not that hard. Go is actually not that hard to learn. You just got to spend some time with it. You just got to let your brain have that sink in. Because the beginning when I played Go, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just putting stones on the board. And then eventually, you had certain questions like, oh, what happens if you do this? And then you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then you eventually get it. So you just kind of have to spend time with it. Shogi, on the other hand, you have to apply yourself to memorize different pieces and characters and things like that. It's kind of like it's kind of a challenge. But anyway, yeah, I'd love to talk about it again sometime. Thank you so much for the support, Spiros. Question of the week, pretty obvious. Does Go ever feel like a chore to you? And why and how have you overcome it? Or if you haven't overcome it, what are you struggling with? Let me know. So if you want to share your thoughts on that question, or you have a Go story to share, or you want to ask me a question, leave a comment wherever you found this episode, or email me at starpointpaduk@gmail.com. That's starpointbaduk@gmail.com. If you're a YouTube listener, I would greatly appreciate a like and a subscribe. Also, apologies if the episodes disappear from playlists or become private, and it's just, I don't know why YouTube likes to mess with my episode. I have to go back and anyway. And if you're a podcast listener, reviews and ratings also help. A special thank you to James B, Tristan, Jeff H, Tyraniton, and Brandon S for supporting Starpoint. Thank you so much. And if you want to support the show, you can go to ko-fi.com/starpointpaduk, that's ko-fi, or check out the Starpoint store at store.starpointpaduk.com. And come on over to the Discord. The link is in the description. Oh, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, I love to snowboard, but it is quite a dangerous sport. I actually fractured my wrist many years ago when I was in high school. It's really important for snowboarders and skiers alike to stick together, because if you get lost and you're alone and then you get hurt, you have nobody to help you. It can be quite dangerous. So in order to keep yourself and yourselves, actually with your friends, mutually alive while going down a snowy mountain such as the ones you see with the chairlifts and all, I highly recommend using snow skis to become mutually alive. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Keep playing Go.